a small, private seminary school in 1826, Furman University has continually expanded its educational spectrum since then to provide a wide array of opportunities for students. An important opportunity for students came to Furman in 1950 when the campus received a charter from the Army to develop an ROTC program. From 1950 until 1968, participation in ROTC was mandatory for all freshmen and sophomore men. Women were not able to formally join the military until 1972, and the Furman ROTC program complied with the changes immediately. Originally, Furman was chartered as an armored cavalry unit, meaning that students trained with live tanks, mortars, and rifles. This may explain the Furman ROTC's success in rifle competitions during the 1950s and 1960s, which included winning several regional titles. One of the 4 tanks on campus weighed 26 tons and was stored in a shed behind the dining hall.
Lieutenant Colonel William Price. I'm an assistant professor of military science here at Furman University. Been here since August of 2000, and I primarily teach the American Military History course, and I advise the freshman cadets here at Furman. Furman's ROTC program officially began in 1950. It was originally established as an armored cavalry unit, which meant that the young men, all of whom, all freshmen, were required to enroll in the basic military science and tactics course. If they continued with the program through their senior year, they would receive a commission as an armor officer, which meant that Furman University actually had 4 light tanks that were actually ran around on the new campus. Of course, that was before anything had been built here. The original campus was still up on University Ridge. So it progressed from 1950 up until its present day. It's evolved a lot of different ways, both in size and scope, and it's been reduced in other ways. The original mission for the unit was to produce 25 Army officers a year, and of course all of those would have been armor officers. Eventually it became a general branch, which meant that the commissionees that came out of Furman would be assigned to the Army in a specialty which the Army needed at the time.
As Senior Cadet Steve Hodgson shares, the department is a special asset to Furman that many students do not appreciate.
I joined as a sophomore, which is a little bit counter to what most people do. I came to Furman as a freshman, just as a regular student, and I had a little bit of interest in ROTC, but didn't necessarily know that's what I wanted to do. I spoke with several of the cadets and found out that it was a pretty good opportunity, and went ahead and talked to our recruiting officer and got myself signed up for my sophomore year. I think that ROTC provides a really good opportunity to enhance your education. I've always felt that for one, physical fitness is a huge part of your overall self-improvement. Basically, it goes hand in hand with academic progress and with social progress. Everything that you gain in college, it really just enhances it.
Participation in ROTC at Furman is a rigorous time commitment, but in the end, students who complete the program are rewarded with tuition compensation as well as commission as an Army officer in exchange for at least 8 years of active military service.
Depending on the week, you have PT 3 or 5 days, and there are many occasions in which we have significant events which require a limited number of cadets to put in more effort if they're involved in the direct planning or execution, but on average probably 6 to 10 hours a week. Juniors and seniors have 2 labs a week, which are from 2:30 to 4:30. Freshmen and sophomores just go to the Monday lab. So depending on your year, the hours are different.
That is a sad story. Probably more than all my other classes combined, if that means anything.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel Mike Ellicott. I'm a professor of military science and department head for the Department of Military Science and Leadership here at Furman University. Been here since June of last year. This is the 18th year that I've spent in the Army. I've loved just about every bit of it. The best job, though, so far has been this job here as a professor of military science. I expect them to do PT. I expect them to be physically fit. I expect them to learn. I want them to know what their job's going to be, and I want them to work hard at becoming professionals at it. I expect them to graduate and graduate on time. I expect them to learn what the role of the non-commissioned officer is and to support that role. And I expect them to have fun.
While Furman senior ROTC officers are no longer issued .45 caliber pistols to carry around campus, participating students still see benefits.
For me, the most rewarding aspect of ROTC has really been the leadership training, which has enabled me to feel more confident in all situations in life.
I'd say that just having the opportunity to make decisions for a group of people as large as, we're working with about 60 kids here. It's something that I had absolutely never done, and I don't think you really ever get that kind of opportunity in any other college program. It may sound cliche, but I mean, this ability to actually lead is not really provided in the same sense anywhere else that I've seen as a college student.
The most rewarding aspect of it is to see these young men and women in a time in a time in our nation's history where we are actively at war, is watching them come in as young college students, knowing or thinking that they want to serve in the military, and watching them really develop both intellectually and physically and emotionally into people that you would trust your children with, and knowing that they're going to go on after they leave Furman to do great things, and have done great things.
Despite the program's notable achievements, Furman may see a diminishing ROTC program in the near future. Due to funding and budget deficit issues, the department is considering changing its scholarship allotments, which will in turn decrease the number of student participation. Usually reserved for suffering programs, this prospect would be a serious blow to Furman's nationally recognized battalion.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to really to look at the newspapers and understand our nation is in fairly bad economic times.
I think a prudent person watches the news and understands that there are fiscal concerns within the way the government operates. One of the biggest outlays for the way the government operates is the Department of Defense. The
one largest problem is the lack of funding that ROTC and the Department of Defense in general.
Department of Defense is going to have to take their share of cuts.
If funding is cut and a political decision is made to cut funding from the Department of Defense, some of that may affect the way ROTC scholarships, the number, type, and location for where ROTC scholarships are given.
Essentially, scholarships to Furman are evaporating. Scholarships across the country are becoming either partial scholarships or are essentially non-existent. So recruiting is going to be a huge issue at a school like Furman, where the cost of attendance is extremely high.
This year, right now, as opposed to having seven four-year scholarship winners identified, we currently only have 3.
We're anticipating that those numbers are going to drop, and therefore if the number of soldiers drops, the number of officers are also going to consequently drop. Therefore, there will be less money allocated for things such as scholarships and ROTC and Cadet Command and things of that nature.
We're working with the Furman Strategic Planning Committee to make sure that Furman ROTC remains a critical part or an integral part of Furman in the future.
Yes, I think there will always be students who would do this because they believe in national service in the military. It will be very, very difficult for a young person at Furman without some sort of incentive to do this without a scholarship.
While it is fairly certain that Furman will continue to operate as one of the leading liberal arts universities in the nation, we cannot imagine the changes that the school will endure as a result of scaling back such an important opportunity for students. Not only does the Army ROTC connect Furman to a national military cause, but it also provides many students with a means of payment for expensive tuition in addition to job security upon graduation. For leadership that lasts a lifetime, look no further than Army ROTC. For Army ROTC, though, you may have to start looking beyond Furman.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the Army goes rolling along. till the battle.